Hi, everyone. We're going to give it just about 30 seconds. I can see people coming in, so we'll give them a moment. If you're joining us today, take a seat, get comfortable. We have some great content for you today. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on AI for finance. We're excited to have you join us. Okay. So just a little housekeeping before we get going. The webinar is being recorded and it'll be shared following the event. So if you'd like to share it with any of your colleagues, it'll be available. We also encourage you to drop questions in the Q&A chat. We'll answer them, some in writing, some we'll answer at the end live with any time that we have left. So before we dive in, let's meet your presenters today. I'm Vika Smolansky from DataRobot's product marketing team, and I'm joined by Aina Ko from our product team. We also have Amit Patel and Venkatesh Shaker from NetApp's data science team. Collectively, we bring together experience from product, data science, and line of business teams to show how AI can transform your finance operations. So we know that CFOs and AI leaders are increasingly working together because there's a huge potential in using AI to do things like reduce forecasting errors, free up analyst time, and save millions. And DataRobot for finance teams is designed with every key player in this equation in mind: AI leaders, data teams, finance leaders, developers. We've already helped companies see results like 50% reduction in errors and 10 million in annual savings with one of our customers, as an example. Our platform is end-to-end from data prep to model deployment, and it empowers AI teams and business teams to work faster, safer, and smarter to see bigger and better outcomes together. At DataRobot, we're helping finance teams deliver millions in savings by enhancing how you plan, forecast, and manage risk. It all starts with smarter forecasting and decision-making. Using AI recommended insights, teams can model scenarios more effectively and make high-impact decisions in real time. We also integrate seamlessly with SAP systems, leveraging real-time data, external market signals, forecasting, and AI agents to empower finance teams to make better decisions faster and to maximize your SAP investments. We're also helping teams optimize cost and cash flow management. This is a very common use case we're seeing, doing everything from preventing overspending with early variance detection to improving liquidity and reducing interest expenses. It's all about better visibility, accountability, and control. And finally, when it comes to compliance and risk, which is so important for finance teams, AI plays a really powerful role. We can help you identify risks early, automate monitoring, and help your team stay on top of regulations to protect your bottom line. Now, when it comes to our real-life customers and the impact that they're seeing, we're seeing real measurable value for finance teams across different industries. So just a couple examples here. King's Hawaiian, which everyone probably has on their Thanksgiving table. We saw 20% savings in interest expenses with them by transforming their cash flow forecasting. So before, only 3% of their payments arrived on time, which resulted in a need for short-term loans. Now they've eliminated last-minute loans entirely. Fortune 100 tech company that we're all familiar with reduced their annual funding costs by $5 million. So poor forecasting was leading to a lot of unnecessary debt, and they used DataRobot to improve their forecasting accuracy by 25% in just the first 3 months, which helped them cut their reliance on debt. And finally, this leading financial services company, a bank many of us probably use, has saved a whopping $52.5 million in a single year. So they were losing millions in opportunity costs from excess reserves, but when they improved their cash flow predictions, they were able to free up capital each month for investments. And that's the kind of strategic bottom line impact that AI can have really quickly. So the Finance AI App Suite brings together the power of agentic AI directly into your SAP reporting and ERP tools. We help you do all the things that matter most to finance teams. And the apps in the suite are built to be used out of the box, customized to your workflows, and embedded directly into your SAP environment for seamless AI-driven decision making. And on the right here, you can see a little preview of what one of these apps look like. We're going to dive into that and see it in real time in a little bit. For now, we've mapped out our primary use cases to the core areas that finance teams care about the most: planning and forecasting, budgeting, performance, risk, and compliance. And we have apps for everything from cash flow and revenue forecasting to contingency planning, profitability analysis, and even ESG reporting. So the suite really focuses on enabling a comprehensive AI-driven finance transformation that's all grounded in your SAP data. If we zoom in on some of the high-value use cases that we're seeing more frequently, we really tried to focus on creating apps that address the most pressing pain points that finance teams are experiencing and their broader organizations are feeling the pains of. So whether it's predicting future cash flows, forecasting revenue, catching fraud, or speeding up contract reviews, each app is built to help you operate more efficiently, reduce risk, and make smarter financial decisions faster. For today, we're going to zoom in on cash flow forecasting as an example, and we'll also show you a demo of our cash flow forecasting app. So the economy has been a little volatile lately, and having a clear AI-powered view of future cash flow is absolutely critical right now. Our app not only predicts inflows and outflows with high accuracy, but it also gives actionable recommendations to optimize your working capital, to reduce liquidity risk, and to support strategic planning. On the back end, it's fully integrated with your SAP ERP, which accelerates AI development and deployment while boosting accuracy through continuous learning. For AI teams, the app makes it easy to embed models directly into your SAP systems. So it removes the heavy lift of model building and deployment with templates, automation, and built-in monitoring tools. And then with pre-built templates and customizable AI logic, you can speed up deployment and get more accurate forecasts faster while dramatically reducing errors, like some of those customers that we talked about a few slides back. For our finance teams, for the line of business users, the intuitive interface when the SAP integration means that you can trust and act on AI recommendations without needing to understand the technical complexities behind them. So it's really a true fusion of business and AI collaboration. You keep working where you've always been working, but the results that you're getting are more accurate, they're improved. So the app delivers real-time insights that help you manage cash flow, reduce payment risks, and optimize collections. And with AI-driven recommendations built right into your daily tools, your team can spot issues early and take action quickly. So at a very high level, here's how it works. We start by pulling data in from your ERP systems like SAP HANA. And from there, DataRobot builds and trains the models, monitors performance, and pushes predictions back into your ERP or into analytics tools like SAP Analytics Cloud. This end-to-end flow is automated, monitored, and secure so that you can have a fast and scalable AI deployment. But I always think it's better to see the app in real life. So Aina is going to walk us through a live demo. Aina, you can go ahead and share your screen when you're ready.
All right. Let me know when you can see this dashboard. All good. Okay. All right. So for this demo, I'm going to walk you through how DataRobot's Finance AI App Suite helps SAP finance leaders better manage working capital by providing real-time, explainable, and actionable cash flow insights right where their teams are working. So here's what we're going to cover in this quick demo. We're going to start with this React dashboard that we built and iterated on with our own internal treasury team, showing how forecasts from advanced modeling techniques surface critical late payments and what to act on before the quarter's end. Then I'm going to walk through those same insights that could be pushed directly into SAP Analytics Cloud, so your teams can continue using them inside of their native SAP environment. And then we're going to finish with a quick look at how this is powered behind the scenes, how DataRobot trains and monitors these models, and how the prediction data flows into SAP DataSphere for full integration into your existing ERP and reporting systems. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like in action. What you're looking at here is the near-term payment forecast dashboard that's built in React. It's a live hosted front end powered by DataRobot's predictive models and integrated into your ERP data from SAP systems like DataSphere and S/4HANA. So your finance team is always working off real-time production-grade forecasts from DataRobot. For this dashboard, we partnered with our own internal treasury team to solve a pain point that every finance org faces, which is which invoices are likely to be paid late and what's the downstream impact on quarter-end cash targets. With DataRobot, we've seen customers cut forecasting errors by over 50% and save hundreds of hours per quarter that would have gone into manually building and retraining models. Right at the top, you'll see the big picture. 243 million of total invoice collections due in the quarter, 188 received to date, 24 million still expected in the quarter. And with DataRobot's forecasts, we're predicting 7.6 million actually predicted to land before the end of the quarter. It is a huge red flag, and it means that roughly 16 million of cash is at risk by quarter end. With DataRobot's models built on advanced modeling techniques, continuously retraining on actual incomes, this isn't actual guesswork. It's AI-powered forecasts, so leaders can act early, whether that's tapping a credit facility or delaying a cash disbursement. And we've had one customer who avoided over 10 million in annual expenses just by making smarter liquidity decisions like this. The line chart here is your weekly projection line. And notice this dip here in late July. Traditional tools wouldn't flag this until it's too late. And with DataRobot, this early warning system becomes an everyday tool and not just an everyday fire drill. With this bar chart down below, it shows the top 10 customers with the largest expected payment delays. If you look at Delicious Deli, as an example, there's 4.1 million that's invoiced for the quarter, but 2.4 million that's expected to be paid by the end of quarter. Same story with Savory Shop and Flavorful Foods here. You could see this $2 million delta in expected late payments. And these insights are where the actual action happens. With DataRobot, our finance leaders, in partnership with other leaders across the org, can prioritize escalation much earlier and much more accurately. They could renegotiate terms with these high-risk customers and run risk-adjusted forecasts from here. We rounded out with payment behavior over time, broken out by aging buckets. This helps teams segment follow-ups for automation for reliable payers in the green zoned accounts, while applying white glove treatment for high-risk, high-value customers in the red zone ones. And all of this is fed by a model that learns from patterns in your historical SAP data. At the bottom here is a detailed invoice table where you could dig into individual invoices and an AI-generated summary. This narrative flags which accounts are introducing the most risk and surfaces where human review is needed, freeing up teams to focus on where it matters most. Now, for many of you, this data needs to show up not in a standalone app, but inside the tools that your team's already using, like SAP Analytics Cloud. So we support this too as the default workflow. DataRobot's forecasts are written directly into SAP DataSphere, and from there made available in SAP Analytics Cloud dashboards, fully integrated in your enterprise financial reporting stack. The exact same insights that we just saw in that other dashboard, featuring cash gaps, at-risk invoices, timing delays, it could all be surfaced in this SAP dashboard along with your existing KPIs and metrics. This way your teams can take action without actually switching tools that they're already using. So I'm going to jump into the back end, which is primarily for the AI practitioner, but we're going to take a peek under the hood to see how all of this is built and governed. So first question is, how do you trust the cash flow model is actually performing well over time? DataRobot addresses this by delivering comprehensive model monitoring and governance. And deployed models are rigorously tracked for accuracy and reliability, offering full transparency and safeguarding against model drift. If accuracy dips or data shifts, your team is alerted and can retrain this model as needed. You get full model lineage, audit logs, and compliance tooling, which is critical for SAP environments. Predictions are automatically written back into SAP Datasphere, where they're easily joined with your native SAP tables, so no custom ETL pipelines are needed when you're running this template. And the entire flow starts with DataRobot Workbench, which is our comprehensive collaborative development environment targeted towards AI builders. So if you jump into an experiment here, you can see a number of regression models that are built and trained on your ERP's historical payment data from SAP Datasphere. The model predicts payment behavior at the invoice level and surfaces which accounts are likely to delay payment. And the platform automatically evaluates model accuracy and generates all of these rich insights across all of these models that are automatically built for you, which you can see here on the left. And and you can understand what's driving model predictions like payment terms, customer size, or past behavior. Last thing I want to show is this data connector that DataRobot supports. So this is your training data or the data that you're going to be building your model, the models in DataRobot with. We have native connectors here. If you go to our data connections, and you can see the ones that the template specifically uses for SAP is our SAP Datasphere and SAP HANA native connectors. So ingestion remains seamless for all of your scoring and prediction data. Your models stay close to the source of truth and ensures that high quality predictive models are built directly from your data, all within your existing ecosystem. So just to recap, we started with this React dashboard that gives real-time insights into which payments are likely to be delayed. Then we showed how those insights flow directly into SAP Analytics Cloud as the default workflow when you run the template. So your team can act on insights inside of their native tools. And then behind the scenes, we showed how DataRobot trains, monitors, and explains the models, and how model training and prediction data flow to and from SAP Datasphere to integrate seamlessly into your existing workflows. So that concludes this demo. I'm going to pass it back to Vika to finish the presentation.
Thank you. Okay. So we're about to hear from our guest speakers from NetApp, but just as a quick follow-up to Ina's demo, whether you're new to DataRobot or if you're already a customer, we'd love to help you take the next step. If you're already a customer, you can contact your customer success manager. Otherwise, you can visit the link here to start your journey with a free demo. And our team will guide you through every step from app setup to AI adoption so that you can start realizing value fast. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Amit and Venkat to tell us about how they've been building solutions with AI to help the finance team at NetApp.
Awesome. Thank you, Vika. And thanks for inviting us to this webinar. So a little bit of background first. We've been working with DataRobot for a couple of years now, multi-year engagement. They've been great to work with. We engage with them at an account level and then at a detailed data science level where our data scientists can get expert help from them in all of our different engagements and delivery of forecasting. So the area we're going to focus on today is finance forecasting. In the short time we have, we'll give you a flavor of the scope of the projects and programs for forecasting in the finance area. And then Venkat will go a little deeper into the technical analysis and the data science and ML scope. Go to the next slide, Vika. So this is a little bit of a mind map in terms of how we think of forecasts across the finance ecosystem. And the reason why we came to even execute some of these projects is our CFO organization was having challenges forecasting quarter on quarter, and had big swings in the manual forecast they were getting. And that has big impacts on how business decisions are made. I think Vika touched upon it on one of her earlier slides. For example, how interest payments are made, where to put cash, if for a cash forecast from a revenue and a bookings perspective, where to allocate resources in the best way moving forward. So that was a big frustration for the finance organization up to and including the CFO, and this is where we started building models across cash, bookings, and revenue. So there's two ways we can use this diagram. It's a mind map of how bookings and revenue kind of feed into cash, and it shows some of the complexity across the business and the components that are needed in each of those areas. And then the second way we use this is to show that each of these boxes is actually a machine learning model. And so this shows the journey, for example, the green areas where we've made progress and we've delivered machine learning forecasts, the kind of yellow color where we have work in progress, and areas that we have not started yet. And so we've had great success in the cloud revenue space and the cash from customers space. And we've seen success where we've delivered forecasts that have now been much more predictable than the manual forecast and have gained confidence of our business. And that's been a multi-quarter journey. There's building the forecast is one part of it, tuning the forecast and the models, but then building the confidence of the business has been the last part of the journey, and it has been a great success with revenue and cash from customer. We can probably move to the next slide. You want to go over this one, Venkat?
Sure. So just to double click on what Amit has mentioned, right? So now we wanted to take just the revenue component of it, and we wanted to walk you through end to end, how did we approach this particular problem, right? So from the revenue forecasting model, what we did is we just took the entire historic data, right? And it went a little bit more granular, right? One among the key challenge that we had when developing this machine learning problem is, right, our end user wanted to see the forecast at individual account level, right? The current modeling approach that the team already built, which is a manual approach the finance folks have hands-on with, that's like a little bit more at higher guards, where they could see a worldwide number or, a little bit of geo level numbers, but, they are not able to tackle at individual account level. And that's where, our team stepped up in it. And, we try to look everything from an historical data standpoint. And we did like extensive data pre-processing, right? And this is where for us, the DataRobot platform, came in handy, right? We were able to build a time series based problem with our data set. And, we were able to extract like more than 70 plus different attributes. Right? When we look everything at an individual customer level, right, we are able to look back in time, try to find out, hey, what is going to be their rolling mean, for example, right? Or, what is their standard deviation for last 2 quarters, and, what is there going to be mean, median, mode across like, different time horizon. So we were able to extract a lot of these statistical driven insights from the data, right? In a much more fast forward fashion, instead of us coding it out, figuring it out, hey, how many kind of derived attributes that I needed to develop for this particular given data set, right? So we're able to derive all those insights from the platform, and we could able to create a different gold standard version of our data, right? And with that gold standard version of data, we are able to rapidly go through multiple different model iterations, right? So we are trying to build a different kinds of modeling prototypes, right? So we are able to focus only on, hey, what happens if you just build a model only for different customer segments, right? How does the forecasting accuracy look like? So we're able to like go in an iterative fashion to test out different modeling approaches and our hypothesis, right? Eventually, we're able to build right from our deep learning models towards like, the base models using traditional MLs, right? So we're able to compare and contrast all those modeling results. And then, we're able to figure out, hey, what are the top 3 models and 2 models, right? Out of all the iterations that we did. And we were able to deploy those models into production and, able to deliver those business insights to the business. Right. And on top of this, right, the platform comes in handy, when we wanted to expand this particular scope of our project, right? Right now, we just purely looked only from the historic data, right? And we are also in discussion about adding our capacity related data as part of our input data flow, right? So how much of capacity has been allocated to a particular user, and how much of the allocated capacity has been utilized, right? So that's one particular angle that we are looking at, and on top of that, we are also looking at adding external data sources, right? For example, it could be GDP related insights and macroeconomic related details associated to that particular account, and how that is going to create an impact in our overall revenue forecast. This is a 1,000 feet bird's eye view of it. I think, yeah. So in general, the platform helped us to a greater extent, right? So like I mentioned, it helps us in terms of faster iteration. And on top of that, it also helped us with the easy integration, right? We have our data sitting across multiple systems, right? We have data from stored in Snowflake. We have like data stored in SQL and S3 bucket and everything. So this platform helped us to easily integrate the data across multiple systems and able to perform those high level EDA for us to begin with. And then, a complete data pre-processing cycle, it helps us to rapidly iterate that particular process, right? And when it comes to the finance team as well, like I earlier mentioned, one among the key advantage of building this particular model, right, is about getting insights in real time, right? We are able to deliver the forecasting model as the new data comes into our system. Earlier, we used to have the forecast has to run only at a monthly level or at the quarterly level. With this particular ecosystem and the setup end-to-end framework, we are able to deliver the forecast results at the weekly granularity and even sometimes at the daily level as well, right? And in terms of when we wanted to talk about the forecasting accuracy, right, since we are able to iterate on 500 plus different kinds of combination, right, and pick the top 3 things, when we did a little bit of back testing on a few of our quarters, right, we were able to get at 98 to 99% certainty, right? And this is across the board. When we look at either at the geo level or at the worldwide level, we are able to create a greater impact with this ecosystem. Up to you, Amit.
Yep. And just to add on, when we're showing these results to the executives, especially on the finance side, it's eye-opening where they really see the quarter-on-quarter benefit of having a better forecast compared to the manual forecast. It's seeing that value and then seeing the benefit of that in terms of the better decisions, the better business decisions that we can make, as well as freeing up time, effort, and money from all of the manual efforts that we've been doing in the past has been great. And so, as a summary, I thank the DataRobot team for inviting us here, and it's been a fantastic engagement, and we will be continuing for this year, next year, and the foreseeable future with a lot of the finance models that we need to complete. And then there are a lot of other areas that we need to go and address as well, for example, in the operations space, in the sales space, etc. So thank you, Vika and team.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Venkat. So we're actually going to transition now. We have some time for a fireside chat. So, all right. So we have a handful of questions here. We'll get through what we have time for. And I also just wanted to drop one reminder about the Q&A. Anytime that we have left at the end, we'd love to answer your questions live. So, Venkat, I have a first question for you. Can you tell us about the biggest challenges you've experienced when collaborating with business teams as a data scientist? How have you made that relationship better?
Yeah, so one among the biggest challenge, I would say is about ever-changing requirements for us, right? So whenever we engage with business folks and we have like a different set of requirement, we will put our heads down and start working on it. And what happens is as we uncover, right? Our findings, and we go back to the whiteboard and with the business folks, we say that, hey, we needed to add like other more attributes, or we needed to look at the problem through the different lens, right? So we might have started from A, now altogether we might have ended up taking in a different direction, right? So that's part of being in this business of being a data scientist, and Ahmed can agree to it. One among the ways that we are trying to bridge that gap, right? It's like more in terms of frequent sync with our business folks, right? And giving them up to date on how our thought process looks like, right? Instead of showing them end results, hey, this is our thought process looks like. Even though it's taking a little bit of time for us to get them educate the business folks and understand, hey, what's our thought processes, and that's one among the way that we are trying to approach this problem.
Yeah, I'll add on and say it's very different to traditional software development lifecycle. The interactions and iterations need to be almost daily, weekly, with the key business stakeholders. And one of the biggest challenges is finding the actual business stakeholder that you can work directly with, and then kind of removing the rest of the noise, if you wish, right? So that there's a small group of folks, probably just the data scientist and the key business stakeholder, who can directly interact, and that's when you see the magic and the quick iterations and the improvements on the factors, the models, and the outcome. And sometimes I think in the data science world, the smaller the team, the better for a particular model. I think you'd agree with that, Venkat.
Yeah.
So you mentioned finding your champion on the business side. What approach have you found has resonated the most with these business stakeholders to get them bought in on using AI to help their teams? What builds that trust?
Yeah, so I think the folks that are the most interested in and have the most to account for on the data side is key. So you have the finance business folks, and then you have the finance kind of data teams. And then when you find the key stakeholders within those data teams, and the folks that know the business well, but then they can see the light at the end of the tunnel with machine learning and automated forecasts, that's the key stakeholder. And it could be at the VP level, it could be at various levels of the organization. But I think finding that one key stakeholder who is a trusted finance partner, for example, on the business side, but understands the data really well, is key.
So what's been the most impactful aspect of using DataRobot for you as a data scientist? And Venkat, this might be first to you. Are there any new techniques that you've adopted, and what tasks have those helped you eliminate?
Sure. So I would say definitely in terms of the high level EDAs to begin with, right? And specifically when I talk in terms of time series based problem, right? So the DataRobot platform help us to build a clustering kind of model, and we can stack time series on top of that, right? So to able to do the repetitive testing process much more faster for us, right? And also comes in handy when we track our model deployment and the drifts.
I'm curious to dig in a little bit more broadly, actually. We've talked about some research that DataRobot did recently around unmet needs, kind of the common pains that we're seeing in data science and AI teams and business teams. And we saw a lot of research around things like confidence and monitoring and observability were a big pain. Implementation, integration, Gen AI app experience, collaboration. Those were some frequent themes that came up. So we're curious what kind of unmet needs you've experienced and how DataRobot has potentially helped you with those.
I think
Sure.
one area I can think of is just the operations piece of it. So moving models into production and then having them run in a way where we don't need to put a lot of time and effort in for those production models, and then focus on some of the newer models. So that's one area from a kind of governance and operations perspective. But Venkat, you were going to add
Yep,
on.
yeah, definitely, Amit. Purely, like you mentioned, the MLOps capabilities where it could come in handy, right? Specifically when we talk about having the challenger models in picture, right? We are not just relying on only one model, right? Every time when we run through these iteration, we'll able to compare and contrast the top 4 models, and with just a few clicks, we'll able to replace the model in the production. Right, so we no need to bring down the production systems down, and there is the turnaround time is much more faster.
So agentic AI is the hot topic these days. When it comes to agentic AI, I know it's still very early on, but do you have any concerns about its future, or what excites you the most about its potential?
You want to
Yeah,
kick it off?
sure,
Yeah.
Amit. When we talk in terms of agentic AI, the only concern angle, right? It's purely when we talk in terms of handling with transaction related data, right? So how the system is going to merge few insights and deliver those insights, that is one among the key concern for us, because people are blindly going to believe, right, what the model is going to tell, as they get involved in terms of trust angle, right? So that could be the major concern, but I know, like I said, we always have to look at from the positive angle. I'm really excited in terms of the agentic workflows as a whole, right? Because it's going to help us to integrate multiple systems, with a single line of command. It will able to like execute a lot of operations, talk to multiple systems in parallel, right? And get our answers much more faster.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's actionable, right? So being able to actually execute tasks, whether they be in the kind of IT operations world, or the supply chain world, or the finance world, or say expense management, right? So instead of just having data coming to you, then being able to actually quickly action those, which may have taken days or weeks before, but they now will happen immediately. I think that's one of the kind of key benefits that I see. But there's a lot to come with agentic AI.
It's exciting and a little scary, and we're figuring it out.
Agree.
So to wrap up, can you tell us what's next for us together?
Yeah, so we've got some deep engagement on the finance area. I think we've got areas that we want to delve into more. We just haven't had the time in terms of operations and supply chain and sales. And we're looking forward to continuing our engagement and really getting deeper and deeper into the DataRobot stack.
We've had a wonderful time working with you, and we're really excited for what's next too. So we have just a couple minutes left. Amit, Venkat, thank you so much. I think with the remaining few minutes, we have some questions that have come in through the chat and through the Q&A that we'd like to come back to. And I know there was a question for you here in the chat around many finance teams are still early in their AI journey. So how do you strike the right balance between pre-built templates and model customization, especially when every company's data looks different?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a big focus for us for the templates. They are pre-wired for common patterns like forecasting cash or detecting fraud, but they're not black boxes. So under the hood, they're using DataRobot's monitoring and governance, as well as rich explainable insights automatically generated for each of the models that are built in an experiment in Workbench. These templates are built in a way, they're code first, they're highly customizable, so you could swap in your own models or retrain hours on your data. There's a data schema that's provided out of the box for each of the templates that we have, including the cash flow template. So it just requires mapping the right data to what is required to run this template and connecting it to the data source that is desired. So just to wrap up the answer, you get a working app very quickly, but you could iterate on it like a first-class ML project because it is highly customizable and flexible.
I know we've primarily focused on developing within SAP, but we did have someone ask if we integrate with NetSuite as well.
Yeah, so there is a default experience as well as the SAP connectors to connect to NetSuite for this template. That particularly can be scoped out with a implementation services sort of requirement with our customer success team, but you could reach out to them to learn more.
Great, thank you. And then Amit Venkat, we had a couple questions come in for you. One was, can you share an example where model monitoring or retraining made a big difference in outcomes post-deployment?
Yep, yeah, definitely. We had a subdivision within the revenue project, where we have like trying to develop a model for our cloud ops product, right? So we deployed a model, and it was performing really good. And that one among the quarter we had like a huge spike in a couple of customers using our product out of the window, right? So before deploying those production results, we were able to compare and contrast, like I said, using the challenger models that came in handy, and we were able to quickly switch the new model when we deploy them in production.
And then there's a kind of similar related question. What kind of modeling techniques or approaches have you found most effective for solving problems in your field?
Yep. So it varies from use case to use case for us, right? So like I said, one among our key differentiator, the added value, I would say, for the time series based problems, right? So when we look technically from time series based problem, we can combine the time series data with the clustering data as well. So first you build a clustering model. Based on the clustering model, you'll be able to segment the customers into different buckets, and based on that segmentation, you'll be able to build the time series based problem, right? You can stack a complete convoluted approach in a much more easier fashion.
Got it. And Aina, how important will standardization of financial reports be for integration of the AI softwares? Our company has projects with a lot of different financial reporting requirements and tools, which seems like a hindrance.
Yeah, that's a great question. This is definitely something that could be scoped out with our implementation team. This was, I mentioned during the demo that the dashboard that we built was built also in partnership with our internal treasury team, and we have the same challenges as well. But again, this is just something that's standardized. These are challenges that we run into with almost every problem that we solve with DataRobot. So definitely not a blocker to use the cash flow template or any of our templates, and it's something to scope out with our services team.
Thank you. So I think we've captured all the live questions. So with that, I'm just going to share one last thing here. I shared this earlier, but if the template seems like something that may be useful for your team, or if you're looking for solutions for your finance team more broadly, even beyond cash flow forecasting, we really encourage you to try out the template, understand what the workflow looks like and what it can do for you. So if you're an existing customer, you can chat with your customer success manager, but we also have a link here to a free hands-on demo. So you can go that route as well. I wanted to give one more thanks to Amit and Venkat and Aina for joining us today for the lively conversation and for your insights. And thanks to all of you for joining us, and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.